Yo, what's going on guys, it's Lightning Quick Gaming, and today I'm back with another video. Now today we're going to take a look at the top 10 dirtiest players in NBA history. These will include players you would never expect, and players who would be willing to tell you how dirty they were and not be ashamed about it. So let's get into it. Now we're going to start off with an honorable mention. We got Draymond Green. Now Green hasn't been playing long enough to earn himself a spot on the list, but I'm sure in a few years he probably will have one. Most of his dirty antics are actually very recent, including with him getting suspended of Game 5 of the NBA Finals because he had too many flagrant fouls. And if you want to know how dirty he is, just ask Steven Adams. Moving on to number 10. We have Ron Artest. Artest, Metta World Peace, is known around the league as a dirty player. 2004 might have been his top year. Starting out with probably his most famous story, the Malice in the Palace. Late in a regular season game, with the Pacers up 15 with under a minute to go, Artest fouled Ben Wallace on a drive to the hoop. Wallace thought the foul was a bit too hard and he shoved him. To Artest's credit, he went over and laid on the scorer's table to try to calm down and let the refs handle the situation. What happened next, though, is as bad as it gets in the NBA. Again, a little credit to Artest, however, he didn't start this fight either, although he didn't make what he did okay. A fan proceeded to throw a beer bottle at him, and Artest jumped into the stands and started fighting and punching the fans. What makes it worse is that moment ruined the Indiana Pacers season, where they had a big chance of going far in the playoffs. Another example is Artest pulling down Paul Pierce's pants during a regular season game. Pierce, however, hits a three in his face on the same possession. The final one, well, you could just ask James Harden what he thinks. Number 9. Karl Malone and John Stockton. Known mostly for being one of the best duos in NBA history, the Malone-Stockton duo is one of the most dirty duos of all time. John Stockton is very surprising because his antics were never really caught by the refs or TV. Stockton got under the skin of so many opponents by scratching, clawing, and pulling their jerseys. He made grabbing jerseys without the referee seeing it an art. He was so good at it that he got away with it most of the time without anybody knowing besides the player affected. Karl Malone is famous for his elbows. Whenever he came down with the rebound, you could count on his body twisting and his elbow flying, destroying anything in their path. So many NBA players got hit with the Karl Malone. In 1988, he left a young Michael Jordan lying on the ground in pain with a vicious elbow. In 1991, when Isaiah Thomas tried to penetrate on a drive, Malone attempted to block the shot, but gave Thomas 40 stitches in his eye instead. Number 8. Kobe Bryant. Whether you like him or not, Kobe Bryant will go down as one of the greatest players in NBA history. He very rarely, if ever, gets intimidated. Bryant's foul rate doesn't just indicate how dirty he was, because most of what he does, he just gets away with it. What annoyed opponents most about Kobe is that he frequently got foul calls when he initiated the illegal contact. Kobe is known to hitting someone in the face with the follow-through on his jump shot, or elbowing someone in the throat trying to make room for a shot. His fans will tell you it's just incidental contact, but everyone knows better. Just look at Dirk getting slapped on a Bryant drive, and Kobe got the foul call. But I'm still waiting for someone to tell me how Bryant got away with the elbow on Mike Bibby. Number 7. Rick Mahorn. Though he wasn't the worst defender on the Pistons bad boys teams of the 80s, he made sure to make his fair share of contact. Mahorn believed in the no soft fouls rule, and when he was known for making all of his 6 fouls count, he did everything and anything to create contact in the paint. Some players are just soft by nature and resist contact, not looking at you, Anderson Varejao, but the big man in Detroit was anything but tissue paper. Some even nominated Mahorn as the baddest boy of them all, and it is said that he paved the way for Dennis Rodman. Number 6. Rasheed Wallace. Sheed being on this list shouldn't surprise anyone. He got 317 technical fouls in his NBA career, which is an NBA record. And in 2001, he got called for 41 technical fouls, which is 1 in every 2 NBA games, another NBA record. Rasheed even got ejected for intimidating a ref and not saying anything. He took trash talk to a whole new level, and then when he got his technical foul, he would whine and keep on whining. During the same time, he was dishing out cheap shots, the reason behind a good number of his technicals. If you ask Wallace, he would tell you that he never committed a foul. Number 5. Charles Oakley. When you played against Charles Oakley, you knew what you were getting yourself into, a physical war. His dirty play came from the fact that he wasn't afraid of delivering any foul, and he wasn't afraid to fight. To Oakley, it didn't matter if you were the guy at the end of the bench or if you were Michael Jordan. If you drove to the hoop, Oakley was there to lay you out. He was known around the league as a dirty player who backed down from nobody, and probably would be offended if he knew he didn't make the list. Oakley's physical play wasn't just limited to the regular season. Oakley and Charles Barkley got in a fight during the 1996 preseason game. Oakley never saw a foul that he didn't like. There wasn't a foul that was too hard for him. Just look at a fight he got in with Xavier McDaniel. Oakley has repeatedly complained about the softness of today's NBA and has even hinted at coming back to toughen it up a little bit. If there was ever a player not to be messed with, it was Charles Oakley. Number 4, Dikembe Mutombo. Dikembe is mostly known for his shot blocking ability and his finger wave trademark. However, he had what you would call a talent at injuring people. Victims of Mutombo include names like Jordan, Ewing, LeBron, Billups, and even Charles Oakley himself. He was so talented at hurting people, his Rocket teammate Yao Ming sarcastically said that Mutombo should be held out of Houston's practices. ESPN even compiled a list of 25 injuries caused by the man. Just listen to some of these. He broke 5 players' noses during his career, including Ray Allen and Jason Williams. He gave Chauncey Billups and Charles Barkley 4 stitches each, and Ricky Pierce received 12. Number 3, Dennis Rodman. Rodman is known for 2 things, defense and rebounding. He was willing to do anything to protect the rim and grab every rebound. He was undersized, but that didn't matter to him, as he used every tactic possible to gain an advantage. He used elbows, fingernails, teeth, and whatever he could to try to gain his advantage. He would push and grab until you had no desire to get rebounds anymore, and he would take all of them. Rodman was so crazy that he headbutted referees and even kicked a cameraman. I guess his 5 rings are a symbol to it being worth it though. Number 2, Bruce Bowen. Bowen became one of the all-time great defenders, but he was also very dirty doing so. In addition to grabbing, pushing, and tugging, Bowen had a famous habit of slipping his foot underneath the player as he went up for a shot. That's the worst and most dangerous thing a player can possibly do. Landing on top of feet has destroyed seasons and careers. You do that a few times and your opposing players have it in their heads. When you're worried about coming down on someone's foot, it affects your shot. If you need an example of how dirty he was, just take a look at an example when he kicked Wally Szczerbiak in the face. And finally, number 1, Bill Laimbeer. I'm sure a lot of you guys were expecting Bill Laimbeer and waiting for his appearance on the list. Well, here he is. Laimbeer, along with Rodman and Mahorn, made up the physical side of the bad boy Pistons. However, Laimbeer was the dirtiest. He was physical, he took cheap shots, and he wasn't afraid to flop on the play. Laimbeer wasn't just dirty, he did it proudly, and he offered no apologies for it. He simply did what he had to do in order to win. So there you guys have it. I hope you enjoyed this video, and make sure to give it a thumbs up. Also, if you are new, I would really appreciate it if you would subscribe to the channel. I think you would really enjoy the content. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'm out. Peace.